Hello everyone and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. It is Friday, April the 19th, 2019, and we are here for show number 63 of the 2019 ATP and WTA seasons, and that would be 63. Let's do this. So Monte-Carlo is unfolding very interestingly, if that's the proper word. Interestingly. So let's just jump right into this. Okay, let's jump right in. A couple things right off. Djokovic goes down. No way. Djokovic goes down. Medvedev, by the way, that's Daniil Medvedev, the Russian, looks ready to fight. And Nadal, the mighty Rafa, gets an early test in the first set from Pella, the Argentinian player. So it was an interesting day, and we'll catch up on the scores from yesterday, today. But I have some breaking news as we start the 63rd show. Breaking news. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The mighty, lovely Fabio Fognini.
I knew you were going to say his name.
The mighty, the ever so beautiful Fabio, the fabulous Fognini, rolls into the court today during his Monte-Carlo match. Coric, without one hair or one article of clothing out of place.
I bet you Flavia Panetta gets jealous of him. That he looks better than her.
Man, I tell you what. Once again, Carla and I will award the perfectly groomed tennis player award to the ever so lovely Fabio Fognini.
Berenti's right behind him. He's another Italian player.
Well, yes.
Following in his footsteps.
But Berenti has a flaw of letting one or two hairs be out of place.
He's got the eyebrows though. Perfect.
Fognini today came out on court against Coric, and that match is still going, even though Fognini took a decisive blow in the first set. I think it was a 6-1, and I think it's on serve in the second currently. Yes. But Fognini ultimately should win this match only because he does not have one article of clothing or one piece of hair that is out of place from his part that it should go in that direction. So win or lose, he wins an award.
I mean, he came out perfect.
Woo!
His mustache, well, not mustache, but his facial hair, the bandana, the sideburns are perfect. The eyebrows were aligned shaved to perfection. The tan.
What?
I mean, the shirt, even the stuff he's wearing on his leg, because he's injured.
The bandage on the leg, yeah, it was perfect.
The way he walked, like suave.
Maybe when Fognini drops out of the top 50 in tennis, he should start a line called the Fabio Fognini. And you can buy his bandanas, his shirts, his shorts, and no matter what happens, they'll be perfectly pressed.
I'll buy one.
Get his shaving kit, and no matter what happens, your whiskers will align with the best of the best. Let's go, Fognini.
Actually, you know what? That's what he should sell. Is grooming.
Grooming kits.
Grooming kits. It'd be a hit.
Gillette, here's a word of wisdom. If you want to sign someone even better than Federer or Tom Brady to your perfection facial hairline, go with Fognini.
Yes.
Because ultimately, he's holding it down.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Medvedev in a boxing match. Who would win between Stefanos Tsitsipas and Daniil Medvedev, again the Greek versus the Russian, both youngsters, in a boxing match?
They both have the same type of figure. They're slim, tall guys. You would never think that they would be fighters, but after watching Medvedev last year at the Miami Open go after Tsitsipas, basically stood up and they had to hold him down because he was ready to beat Tsitsipas down. Now
Carla is indicating that Medvedev went after Nadal like with a passing shot instead of passing him, like went at it with a tennis ball.
With Nadal?
No, sorry, Tsitsipas. Okay. Sorry, my fault. Thank you for the correction. She was not referring to Medvedev going at Tsitsipas with a tennis ball, like, instead of passing him, going at the body and saying, my bad afterwards. Like, if you're playing tennis, well, there's a sidestep. I didn't even mean to go here. But if you're a tennis player or even a really studious tennis fan. Even Arvis. Arvis being the most polite of all people. There's no way you can hate Arvis. So this is an Arvis question and everyone else question. If anyone is playing a game of tennis and you have an opponent at the net and you go for their face instead of the passing shot, am I a bad guy because I do that? Or is it just part of the game and just suck it up if you don't make the ball?
It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Even if the player did it intentionally, I do it a lot. I mean, I'm just trying to let you know, don't come again, or I'm coming at you.
Yeah, if you come to the net, I'm coming at you. And that's a fine tactic. Didn't mean to deviate into that realm, but nonetheless, who would win in a boxing match? Daniil Medvedev, the Russian, or Stefanos Tsitsipas?
I think Medvedev would win.
I'm going to take Medvedev.
Especially what I saw at the Miami Open last year where they were done with their match, it finished, and they had some words exchanged, and it looked like Tsitsipas walked away.
And the umpire had to get in between the two of them. I think Medvedev was like, "You got a problem, bro? You got a problem? You got a real problem?"
Well, and I don't know. I'm not sure that's exactly what he said,
Something
but he was exchanging words. And Tsitsipas walked away. He knew better.
I'm going to take Medvedev in that boxing match, and the only reason why we bring this up is because Medvedev holds a 4-0 lead over Tsitsipas in match play number 1. They did have a really kind of intense run-in, as we were just speaking about person to person, not during a point, but kind of during or thereafter the point, right?
Well, I think at this last match they had at this tournament, I think Tsitsipas stayed a little bit more quiet. I guess they respect each other at the end of the day. So
it's always nice to shake hands at the net, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to take Medvedev over Tsitsipas in the boxing match. And I only bring this up because when these two guys face off, as young as they are, all hands are off. I mean, these guys can really get a little feisty with one another, right?
Yes.
All right. Moving forward, in this tournament, Monte-Carlo, Carla and I always do a predictive draw before it starts and where we think our projections will go, and then the live version and what has really transpired up until this point in time. I projected the following semifinals before this started. I had Djokovic playing TM in the semifinals. Both of those two are out. And I as well had Coric facing Nadal. Coric facing Nadal. And those two are very much alive. Nadal has already crept into the semifinals with a test today from Peja.
Yeah.
And Coric, I don't know if you're checking scores over there.
They're still on serve. I just checked.
But on serve in the second. But I do have a Nadal and Coric semifinal. And you had
the same thing.
You had a Coric Nadal semifinal as well.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens there. The only reason why I bring this up, it's not a huge deal to project a semifinal or semifinalist in a tournament. In my opinion, this is an ATP 1000, by the way.
Why is it a 1000 when there's only 64 players? Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
if we look at, and this is a good topic. If we look at tournaments such as Indian Wells, Miami, Cincinnati, Montreal, we have draws of 128 players.
Yeah. I don't get why this is 60. This is they paid that much, and it's only 64 players. Obviously, there's buys, so it's less than 64 players.
So at the end of the day, though, I don't. Again, the sluggishness of this tournament, and we'll get into defining the sluggishness of Monte-Carlo and the conditions on this play in Monte-Carlo. And by the way, beautiful tournament, beautiful setting, beautiful people, beautiful country there in Monaco. Everything is copacetic there, but the conditions are always so slow in Monte-Carlo. It's windy in Monte-Carlo.
It puts you to sleep, honestly, watching these
It's
points.
like watching junior tennis at some points in time in Monte-Carlo. And look, there's great tennis being played. At the end of the day, though, all I want to indicate here is that predicting a semifinals normally for me on clay,
it's tougher.
Is extremely tough, and it's my worst surface to predict matches in. So I'm pretty happy that I have Nadal already in one semi, or in one half of the semi, and potentially Coric going into the other semi, because it's hard work getting people into the semis on predictive draws when the surface is so sluggish.
It is so slow. I felt like I was watching today against Djokovic and Medvedev, like I was watching junior tennis. It kind of reminded me of a player my son played this past week that only hit the ball back. with medium pace. The same thing over and
The
over.
conditions are so slow that it almost makes me want to believe, which I know wouldn't happen, I'm being facetious and overly exaggerating, that even some of my boys could hang with some of these guys on the surface because of how slow and how boring. And I'm going to define boring because we're always asked to define adjectives that we use. Boring meaning every point, 20 shots, 30 shots, to the middle, heavy topspin.
But some of it was short today. Some of it landing in the service line.
So anyway, the reason why I don't really count on Djokovic's loss today being that much of something to add a fire to an existing fire is because the conditions in Monte-Carlo have always been extremely slow to the point of just absolute sleepy timeness. And for me, unless you're Rafael Nadal, that's won 11 of these tournaments anyways, you might as well just let the guy have it. You just might as well. It's too slow. It's boring in terms of so many shots, extreme topspin, corner.
I'll put it to you this way: the match that I watched, Medvedev and Djokovic, if they would have been playing on hardcore, I think Djokovic would have put those balls away a long time ago. Because Medvedev was hitting to the service line, and he just kept pushing it back to the service line, and Djokovic really couldn't do much. I mean, if that were a U.S. Open, those points would have been done. At maybe 5-6 shots, not at 40 shots.
Yeah, it almost seemed like Novak Djokovic wanted to maybe, go ahead and get some sleep in during this tournament. I don't know if he was conserving energy or not.
I don't think he was conserving energy. I just think he was probably bothered by the conditions, the fact that the courts were so slow. And his shots were not effective as they usually are.
Yeah. I don't think this is the telltale for anything in the future. Monte-Carlo, again, is habitually slow and extremely slow on top of that. Let's see what happens moving forward.
If I were him, I wouldn't even play this tournament, honestly.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. He wants to complete the Djokovic Slam again, and that's to win all 4 majors. Not the calendar year, but all 4 held at one time, and that will be with the French. And the French courts at Roland Garros are a little bit quicker.
A little bit.
Which
is why I don't think he'll win the French Open. But
all right, moving forward, Dominic Thiem loses to.
Are we talking about the draw?
No, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So Dominic Thiem loses to Lajovic, who again is a Serbian player, and Dusan Lajovic, by the way, played a very good match.
Is it Dusan?
It could be Dusan. Mm-hmm. So once again, a big shout out to our Serbian viewers, by the way, who are always super loyal. If Carla and I have mentioned this before, so if you're just tuning in, Serbian viewers are about 10%, and that's a lot. 10% of our total viewer count. And I must be humbled and step back and remember the facts and the tidbits of information that these Serbian viewers have brought to us, meaning Carla and myself, for about the past year. Here is a list of Serbian players that have been announced to us. In turn, mutual reciprocating respect, we have began to follow their stats and what they have been doing. But since we started this show, the likes of a lot of Serbian viewers have mentioned to us players such as Laszlo Djiri, Lajovic that we just mentioned, obviously Novak Djokovic, Kekmanovic that did well at Indian Wells, Krajinovic, and there's been a few more. So a big shout out to Serbia, and again, their unending list of players that they tend to be putting out year after year to compete in this game of tennis that we follow passionately. So here's my question. Is Dominic Thiem yet another victim of dropping a coach and ultimately losing just after? We all know that Dominic Thiem just dropped his coach of a few years, right?
Many few years as a junior.
Or is it Lajovic that good? Is this a mental snafu from Dominic Thiem after dropping a coach? Or is Lajovic that good?
Or is it that the courts are so slow that one-handers have a hard time with this? surface.
And it may be that way. I don't like to buy excuses, kind of like Wheel of Fortune. People buy vowels. Just solve the riddle without the vowels. But I don't buy into the one-hander jargon because before the game transitioned into bigger rackets and different strings, there wasn't much outside of a one-handed backhand on the men's and women's side altogether. So until maybe like the mid-'80s, somewhere around there, I think one-handed backhands were predominant across the men's and women's game. And now we tend to pick apart the one-handed backhand, whether or not male or female, no matter what. So how is it that in the past, 40 years, 35 years, we've gone from almost everyone hitting one-handed backhands on the men and women's side to now basically picking and chiding at those that hit a one-hander and stating the reason why you are not doing too well is because you hit a one-handed backhand. So the game goes on.
I had to throw it in there because I knew somebody was going to say it.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I think people picking on the one-handers is simply a way of having or giving someone something to talk about. I think there was a song, let's give them something to talk about. Just forget about it. If you think one hand versus two hands is the difference of anything, to me it's not. It's the difference of not working as hard, or you could work a little bit harder on the practice court. Forget about the one hand. The second hand doesn't change anything, in my opinion. It just does not. It just does not. So again, I got deviated into the one-handed backhand.
No, you said that could be the other reason. These courts are slow, which gives a lot of time to those players that are, I'm sorry, I just think it's a little more difficult for them.
I agree.
Because the ball jumps higher. That's the only reason I said that. The ball jumps higher.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But
still, we've had one-handed winners. We've had Stan Wawrinka, who won French Open. We've had Federer, who won the French Open. We had Ivan Lendl, who won many French Opens, and he was a one-hander.
This past tournament in Monte-Carlo has felt very junior tennis to me. And I'm going to define junior tennis. Long rallies of zero aggressiveness, of zero offense. Literally, forehand, ooh, forehand, ooh, forehand, ooh, forehand, ooh.
Well, the only person that makes
someone hit a frame, someone comes in and puts it away.
Honestly, the only match, the Nadal match against Peja, that was a bit more exciting because they were actually hitting angles. Whereas the Djokovic and Medvedev, it was more like back and forth, There was a difference between those two matches.
Look, all I know is that Carla, you and I have watched a lot of matches here at Monte Carlo, and between the sluggish conditions of the court, very slow.
Very slow.
Okay. No disrespect to the athletes that are winning. On top of the commentary given to us by James Blake on the Tennis Channel. Now, look, I like James Blake as a player. He has a nice one-handed backhand.
Sleep with his voice.
He has a nice one-handed backhand as well.
Yeah.
But when we are watching forehand, it takes.
And then he's talking.
Well, you have to remember that during these points, it's like on a hard court or a grass court. It's like forehand, bow, forehand, bow, backhand.
Well,
boom,
you
bow,
know what, Justin? Though maybe you need the grunts to make it more exciting. More exciting.
So on these courts for this tournament, I'm gonna reenact a point. Will you reenact it with me?
Okay.
So I just want you to defend with a delayed grunt, and I'll do the rest. Will you defend with a delayed grunt?
Sure.
So I'm going to be John Doe, and you be John Doe too, and I'm going to hit balls, and I will be the person that makes the comments. You just hit with a delayed grunt. Hit, and then as you hit and follow through, and the volume on the grunts have been low since Jamie Munar left the court. After Jamie Munar left the court, the grunts and the peacefulness on the court has subsided. So here we go. You ready for this one?
Sure.
All right. The serve is already in play. Okay, you have returned it. Now is my first ground stroke on the corner-to-corner rally from cross-court to cross-court on the forehand side if you're right-handed. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. I'm going to get it slowly. Keep it together. Now this is real time. The ball is still traveling over the net. It's still coming. James Blake says, well, he's doing everything correctly. He's really hitting the right shot here. And the ball is still top spinning over the net. And now here it comes. Now I'm going to hit my shot. Now I'm stepping out of the James Blake character, now back into John Doe. Give me a delay shot. The ball is still traveling over the net. He made the right shot here, and I promise this is exactly what Nadal should have done, and this is exactly what the guy needs to do. But when Nadal even is on the court, it's lucky if you even get 3 or 4 shots, and now the ball is still traveling from the upper altitudes of the stratosphere into the court. So now I'm going to get my shot. Here we go, delayed shot.
All right, that's enough of that.
Oh, give me a finishing winner. Can I get a finishing winner? So the last shot's coming over the net, and this has been a really good point. We've been on court for 2.5 hours, and it's still 15-all in the first game of the first set. But here he comes. What an incredible drop shot, James Blake says. It's still floating over the net. It's still coming. It's still coming. It is softly landing like the space shuttle on the moon, or the Apollo, or whatever the thing was called that touched down on the moon. But it doesn't matter because it's still landing on that surface. And it touches down with no splash. And then at the end of the day, James Blake comes in with what a point. Now, this reminds me of a point that happened in Miami not long ago. And I'm putting myself to sleep talking about it.
You know that I actually, when I was watching the Djokovic match and Medvedev, right? I took a shower, came back, and they were still in the first game of the third set. I was like, what? It's deuce?
Yeah.
Are you serious? I took a shower, got dressed, checked on my son, and they're still playing one game? They haven't finished it?
And look, she's not a small little twig. I mean, she's a big girl, so she has to scrub.
I took a shower, got dressed, checked on my kids, checked on Justin.
Yeah,
I came down the stairs and I had the match on and said, 40. Oh.
I mean, look, will you show her the length of your hair? It's not short. It doesn't take a little bit of time to get in the shower and out of the shower and to deal with all that length. To ultimately, look, we had a chance to look at Fognini in his perfection. She showered, got out of the shower, and at the same time, the same drop shot that was hit in that match, it was hit.
You mean the Djokovic match and Medvedev? Yeah. That match was so slow.
There was a forehand down the line, not for a winner, because it's impossible to hit winners in Monte-Carlo, but there was a down the line forehand shot where Djokovic hit a forehand down the line. I came downstairs, I cooked breakfast, I took the garbage out, brought my garbage can back inside, and then went back upstairs and finished off my shower. Came down, the ball was just touching down. And then there was a line call followed by a trainer timeout.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying how we roll. Welcome to Monte Carlo. Let's go! Come on!
I have to say,
let's give me a go.
Wow, it was slow.
All right, moving forward. Prize giveaway update. We have been releasing the information about our 2 prize giveaways heading into the French Open, i.e. Roland Garros, and for the clay court season. We had Dusan Dramikanin put forth his pick last night. And again, if you've missed our criteria needed for the prize giveaway for this clay court season, at least currently, is to let us know
before this tournament
ends which ATP or men's tennis player will have the most points on the ATP tour during the clay court season.
Yeah, and I think he picked
Novak Djokovic.
Okay.
Well,
he's got more points. He's got more points than Thiem, who was picked, and Nishikori, so he's ahead.
I agree here.
He's ahead.
I was being comical there. That's actually a good pick, Dusan.
I'm surprised more people didn't pick him.
Not a bad showing in this tournament for Djokovic. He got to a quarterfinal. He lost. That's okay. But again, throughout this entire clay court season, quarterfinal points are enough. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you had one player that you selected that made it to quarterfinals of every clay court tournament, you have a good shot at winning, right?
That's correct.
So that's not a bad pick at all. Again, we've kind of delved off enough into the sluggishness of the Djokovic Medvedev match. I just want to move on from there. But real quick, I want to give a Uzni salute. I always like doing a Uzni salute to everyone, the Serbian players, the viewers, everyone that's put forth their picks. And the reason why I did a Uzni salute with this Babolat 97 square inch head, fresh foundation grip, fresh YTEX Strings Quadro Twist strung on crosses and mains at 55 pounds. Nice vibration dampener, my Lucky Lion, which I used for a while. This racket is going to be involved in our prize giveaway for the French Open. Check it out. Nice stick. It could use a new bumper guard, but it's still good. No cracks. Freshly strung dampener, new foundation grip. Check it out. Stay tuned. I know Casper Dedseville will be interested in this. I know Arvis and many others will be interested in this. With this racket right here.
We'll even put an overgrip if you need it.
This racket right here will be on the table for the French Open 2019 prize giveaway.
You should even add an extra set of strings for that.
I'll even throw in another set of YTEX strings with this racket.
Your pick.
Your pick. Okay? That's a teaser. That's a teaser. All right, so moving forward, let's get into the last video, Carla. Let's do a quick segment on some of the viewer comments and some of the dialogue that we have found ourselves in the midst of in the past 2 days. So let's start with Carteri, and I know Carteri as Carteri04, who is in the California area, and his dialogue concerning Novak Djokovic smashing rackets.
Well, he said people criticize Djokovic anyway, even when he's not smashing rackets. So who cares what people say? It's wrong for him to smash his racket, but it's this very passionate drive that has won him 15 Grand Slams. So there. Federer has smashed many a racket in his career, but nobody says anything when darling Federer does it.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Anger is mutual. Animosity is infinite. All right, here we go. We took it upon ourselves to look up the last televised or racket smashes caught on video between your statement of Federer smashing many a rackets and, they'll give Djokovic heck anyway no matter what he does. Okay. Roger Federer's last racket smash, smack-ow, smack-ow, smack-ow on the ground and didn't donate to charity like we always hope that players do. Don't smash your racket right before you smash it. Just say, wait a minute, I shouldn't smash it and donate it to charity. Roger Federer's last racket smash was in a loss to Novak Djokovic in Miami in 2009. Prior to that was a loss to Rafael Nadal in 2005. Okay? That was diligent research. If you can find better stats, let us know. Two racket smashes in the last 14 years. 2. Here's a list of Novak Djokovic's.
Oh, and there's more. I'm sure there's way more that we put them up.
I got tired of writing. And I'm trying to be a fan here. But all these rackets that I'm going to read off could have been donated to people in need or donated to people in need before they were smashed. They could have auctioned them off and bought themselves a pair of shoes to wear on their feet. So you go smash your $200 racket with your $50 string job. Suck it up. Because there's people out there that don't have a dime to their name that wish they had the racket that you just smashed looking like a schmuck.
Well, he should give it to the kids in Serbia.
Whatever. He should give it to somebody. Or give them the money that it's worth before you render it useless. Come on. Wake up, man. Here's the list. 2017 Indian Wells, 2019 Monte-Carlo, 2019 Qatar, Shanghai 2018, 2015 Australian Open, 2012 Shanghai, 2010 U.S. Open Final, 2012 French Open Final, 2019 Indian Wells, 2015 Cincinnati. List became too darn long. I got tired of writing.
Oh, there's way more, because there's a lot of smaller tournaments, too, that he played.
Who needs it?
He's probably on par with Benoit Paire for smashing rackets.
Suck it up. Suck it up. If you want to be in the greatest of all time conversation, suck it up. Donate your rackets to charity. Get some positive karma out of it. And get back in the scheme of winning things, because right now you suck. I'm a fan, otherwise I wouldn't be passionate about it. Get your head out of your rear end and stop smashing rackets and win some matches.
You gotta calm down, Justin.
Forget that.
Calm down.
Would you watch this show if I got this racket right now and was so upset about you breaking rackets and I was like, shalaker, 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 and just tore the glass table apart, caused people to be like, man, why did I even buy tickets to this tennis tournament? You look like an idiot. Then lose to Medvedev. Come on, man. Whatever. Jeez. By the way, Rafael Nadal never smashed a racket on court. Federer smashed all these rackets. No one said nothing. 2009, 2005, twice. Give me another one, unless he's a junior at 12. But geez, I got 15 written down and too many more to keep track of. And you're number one in the world. You want to be the greatest of all time category? Save me a slapper double cry fest. Whatever. Come on, man.
You have to admire Nadal for not smashing a racket.
Whatever.
He could have today when he was down 4-1.
Whatever, man.
He could have, but he didn't.
Win the French Open this year.
I've never even seen him close to
You have a
smashing
better
racket.
chance of winning a karate contest of smashing boards and using tennis rackets as your karate chop E. Jeez. Djokovic, what are you doing? You look like a racket smash-a-fool.
All right.
All right. Next segment is going to be dialogue between Yemi Lade or Yemi Lade and Rajesh Kumar. And this is a fun one here.
Well, Yemi Lade said, Fognini the magician was awesome today. So Rajesh said, yeah, he taught the spoiled brat a lesson.
Talking about Zverev.
Zverev sucks and not sure why he is overrated and hyped. So then Yemi says, Fognini's problem is the 6 inches between his ears, which sits on his head, his brain. He's right.
He's right, and this was fun stuff. I knew I was going to get into a lament about Djokovic and his racket smashing, because I'm not going to delve off into this again. But
he's right.
But Yemi Lade and Rajesh are both correct here. I like this. If you missed the last show, check out their comments back and forth.
You know, Rajesh is right. I'm not sure what's all the hype about Zverev. I heard that he got a wild card into the next tournament. He's trying to play as many tournaments to protect his seeding. Really, I don't see Zverev doing anything. I think he needs to think maybe changing his game plan a little bit or his style of play.
Yeah, and he seems like every time I see him, it
just gets worse.
As men or male tennis players, and even the female tennis players, put more time under their belt, they tend to get a little thicker, a little wiser.
Looks the same.
But he looks the same, if not more frail. I would, if I was on the Zverev camp, I would want to not worry so much who my coaches were, but who my nutritionists were and my trainers were. Because he looks like if he went outside, he would blow away in the wind. It's pretty windy here today.
He's too slim.
He's too small at this point. At this point, it's like, what are you doing in the evenings? What are you doing in the mornings? Are you working out? Are you eating? Who is your trainer? Who is your nutritionist? Because at the end of the day, it looks like a Zverev, but much worse than the Zverev was a couple of years ago.
He needs about 10 more pounds of muscle.
He needs to do something, and if I was in his camp or his mother or father, I would say, who is training and feeding my son?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Monte-Carlo results and semifinal projections moving into the finals.
All right, well, we missed a few matches yesterday. Novak Djokovic, the number 1 seed, took out Taylor Fritz pretty easily, 6-3, 6-0. I expected this. He should have beat him 6-0, 6-0, honestly being the number 1 player.
Agreed.
And then Daniil Medvedev took out Stefanos Tsitsipas from Greece, the number 6 seed, 6-2, 1-6, 6-4. These guys always go to 3 sets. Good match. Medvedev is up 4-0. Earlier today, Djokovic and Medvedev played against each other. 3 sets, 6-3, 4-6, 6-2. You know, this was tight. I watched this whole match. This was very tight. It started out in the 3rd set where Djokovic started drop-shotting, but Medvedev figured it out. And really, he had no answers for him. He was missing a lot of forehands. He looked sluggish out there. He just didn't look like your normal Djokovic.
I'm going to jump back on the Djokovic bandwagon because, again, I'm a fan, and if I wasn't a real fan, if you're a real Djokovic fan, and this is a direct shout out for you, Rajesh, if you are a real Djokovic fan and you don't think his racket smashing is detrimental to him winning the French Open, then I really am puzzled about anyone that thinking they're a real Djokovic fan. Hold on. If you are a student of the game and you have coached the game and played the game and you see your player that is number one in the world smashing rackets left and right, it's not a good sign.
He didn't smash a racket in this match.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But there has been many as of recent. Cole Schreiber in this tournament. The only thing I want to get at is that the racket smashing is unacceptable, number one. But number two, the court surfaces here in Monte-Carlo with the wind and sitting right on the water are extremely slow.
Yes.
Extremely slow. I'm not shocked, meaning shocked, like I'm not surprised that Djokovic lost to Medvedev because he was able to carry on the long, slow rallies with Djokovic for just one more ball and he won. I'm happy Medvedev won this. By the way, I'm happy for Tsitsipas that Medvedev didn't punch him right in the jaw because Medvedev doesn't like Tsitsipas at all. But I'm not going to project Djokovic's French Open run on the results of these preposterously slow courts in Monte-Carlo.
Yeah, Djokovic said in his interview that he's looking forward to the French Open. The conditions at Monte-Carlo were slow. The wind, it was tough for him to deal with. You could tell that there was something going on with Djokovic, and I don't mean physically, I think mentally. If I were him, maybe I wouldn't play any tournaments till the French Open. I mean, we know he can play on clay. I mean, it'll be tough to beat him at the French Open. He would need a player like Medvedev or Nadal or someone who could grind it out, maybe tee him on clay to beat him there.
And I don't think Djokovic has, that's a great point, I don't think Djokovic has that many points to defend, if at all. So I would go easy here and wait till the surface speed picks up a little bit. Barcelona, Madrid, okay, but I think the media will be waiting to pounce on your ineptitude to do anything on any surface because the people that write the stories don't know squat about it and just like to project, oh, he sucks now because he didn't.
He doesn't suck. He doesn't have to prove anything. He can wait till the French Open and do well at the French Open. That's why he's the number one player.
Just don't smash any more rackets because it makes yourself look like the jargon and drama BS that these writers are writing. If you smash rackets, then you look like what people are writing. If you don't and hold your head up and just smile, great, win, then you look okay.
I'm sure that Nadal is relieved that Djokovic lost. Next match we had was Lajovic. Dusan Lajovic defeated Thiem in 6-3, 6-3, and then Sonego defeated Norrie 6-2, 7-5. They faced off. And Lajovic came through against Sonego 6-4, 7-5. So we have a Serb and a Russian facing each other in the semifinals.
Look, this is a coin toss type match, but I'm going to give a Yuzny salute to Medvedev.
Well, Lajovic, my surprises.
I think Medvedev's ready to battle in this clay. I think he's slugging out like a prize fighter. I think he's ready. I think Medvedev wins this match, and I think that Medvedev will ultimately cruise enter the final over Lajovic, straight set win, I think, and he will meet Nadal, in my opinion.
Borna Coric took out Herbert yesterday 6-4, 6-2, and Fognini took out Zverev 7-6, 6-1. Currently, Coric and Fognini are in the third set. Fognini is up 3-1 with Coric serving.
Yikes.
So we'll see. Peja defeated Cecchinato in 3 sets, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. So that was a tight match. Anybody could have won that. Rafael Nadal took out Dimitrov 6-4, 6-1. Peja and Nadal faced each other today, and Peja had a good chance. He
7-6 in the first. He was up 4-1.
4-1, about to go 5-1, but then Nadal came back 7-6, 6-3. And he's waiting for the winner.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm really hoping for a Nadal-Coric semifinal, and it looks like Coric is letting this match slip away after winning the first set.
Maybe he's admiring
Fognini's beard and his perfect etiquette of his facial and attire.
Could be.
Maybe he's in awe. Maybe Coric is in shock and awe of Fognini's perfection in terms of attire and beardness. Maybe so, maybe not. But I was really hoping for Nadal, Coric semifinal here, only because I predicted that before the tournament started, and it's very rare that I do that good on clay. Otherwise, I could really care less who wins that match, except that Coric should have done something a long time ago. Coric. Anyway, I still do see Nadal winning whomever he faces and winning his 12th title, defeating Medvedev in the final, which I don't think is undeniable at this point, or deniable at this point.
Medvedev has a chance, though, against Nadal.
Medvedev has a chance, but if Medvedev tries to get into a fist fight like he's done with Tsitsipas before, I think Nadal will get his Babolat Pure arrow and break it over his face.
No, he's not that type of guy.
Not really, but in theory. I don't think Medvedev will have the cojones to step up into Nadal's face and say, "You got a problem, man?" Because I think Nadal will probably laugh, and then I think the sponsors of Medvedev at that point would be like, "Man, you just tried to step up to Rafael Nadal with 17 majors. You're dropped, and My Little Pony will now sponsor you." All right, here we go. That's it?
That's it.
All right, so who you got in your final?
Medvedev and Nadal.
Even though in my original final I had TM and Nadal, I am now going to morph into Medvedev and Nadal.
Yes.
All right, as we finish the show up, a couple things. We have
By the way, if you guys ever go to Monte-Carlo and watch this tournament live, I suggest you drink a lot of coffee while watching these matches.
Yeah, because it will put you to sleep there.
Yes.
All right. Screech level index update. If you're new to the show, we always like to talk about the decibel level that certain players will reach when they play the game, which in turn can almost create temporary insanity in your own head. Today, the screech level index was low. We had a low screech level index. We had some low meter screeching and grunting on the men's side, kind of like some and some but no really like Sharapova, Schiavone. Whoa!
By the way, Schiavone is coaching Wozniacki.
Yeah, by the way, two things. Since Jamie Munar bailed out, who is a student, by the way, at the Rafael Nadal camp in Mallorca in Spain, so I think they are coaching screeching there, obviously, because Munar is in the top 5, I think, at this point, including the females.
Well, a lot of the Spaniard players grunt a lot, so.
Oh, he's not a grunter. He's a squealer. He's a super squealer. Like, they need an action figure after him with the battery pack in the back. If you hit the button, it blasts the windows out of your house. All right. How Francesca Schiavone was in the crowd today in Monte-Carlo. For a minute, we thought that Francesca Schiavone would start grunting from the stands for no reason whatsoever. She's there, players there, they're hitting shots, she's sitting there. I was waiting for her to go, even though she wasn't playing, but it never happened. Didn't happen. I thought it would be a conditioned habit where Schiavone would grunt even though she wasn't playing, kind of timing the other player's strokes, and she would grunt with them even though she wasn't playing, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen. She's, by the way, on the top 3 all-time of screeching. Finishing up the show, quotes of the day, and I'm going to do a couple of them, and I mean these to be humorous. Are you ready? Quote of the day. Light travels faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. And that is from Alan Dondes. Light travels faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. Okay? Think before you speak, because sometimes if you're projecting your, the kind of the guru of whatever you're talking about, and then people finally hear you speak, it's kind of like, whoa, I judged that guy wrong. It's easier to let the cat out of the bag than it is to put it back in. Quote number 2, better to remain silent and thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. From Abraham Lincoln. Better to remain silent and be thought of a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Think before you speak, because if you speak and people just think you're a fool before you speak, and then you speak and you really sound like a fool, you're done. Number 3. This one I liked a lot. By the time a man realizes that his father was right, he has a son who thinks he is wrong. Okay? So, again, by the time a man realizes his father was right, geez, how many times do I wake up in the morning? My 81-year-old father was always right. Work hard, be patient, throw a pebble in the bucket, it'll fill up, whatever, Dad, whatever. Now I'm 41 with 5 kids, and I'm like, geez, he was always right. Now has a son which thinks he is wrong. I got 5 kids, and they all think I'm wrong. Go figure it out. And that comes from Charles Wadsworth. That's it, everyone. Much love to you all. Have a great evening. Click a like below, subscribe below, share our videos. Please feel free to contribute to our channel, and you could do so by clicking the down arrow to expand the description field. And we have a PayPal link and a Cash App link there. So thanks so much to everyone. We will see you soon. And as Carla always says,
Adios.